Greetings, Inquisitor. I'm glad you found this holocron. This is the third mod clinic. We're going to refresh ourselves on the rule set that we use for working on mods. We're going to go through a large inventory of mods, picking ones that are good, selling off ones that aren't, and occasionally slicing up some mods when it's appropriate. Then we're going to finish off the video by selecting a couple characters, remodding them, doing some 6-dot mod work, as well as some 6-dot mod slicing. To refresh ourselves on the concepts, when selecting mods, you will almost always choose a mod with speed over a mod without any speed, so we're really going to prioritize that speed substat very highly. When optimizing a character, you will select mods that have stats that match your character's needs. If you're building a defensive mod, build it with defensive stats and put it on a defensive character. It's that simple. Don't invest credits in bad stats, so as soon as we know that a mod is bad, we're going to abandon it and discontinue our investments. So the rules are that we're rarely going to work on any mods without speed. It can happen occasionally, but it's pretty rare. Any mod can be a speed mod, so even if the other substats aren't that great, if the speed develops, we will continue to work on that mod. Best when the stats match the mod set. Sell any mod with 2 bad stat lines. Lock mods that are worth slicing, and don't slice unlocked mods. Again, just to remind everybody, we expect at least 85% of everything we touch is going to get sold. 10% might be okay for now. 4% of it might be good to the extent that we'll slice it and work on it. And remember, those truly excellent mods where you get 4 out of 4 good stats and hit on the ones that you want is about 1 in 100. I've redone this sheet a little bit, and we're just going to generically say that for these offensive type stats, the offense, potency, speed, crit chance, crit damage mods, we're going to prioritize crit chance, speed offense, and flat offense as the best stats. Flat protection, flat health, flat defense, and tenacity are going to be the bad stats. And the rest of them are in between. They're okay. They're neither good nor bad if they show up in the mod. For the defensive mods, health, defense, tenacity, and speed can also be a defensive mod. Good stats can be speed, health, defense, protection. And I do put offense percent over there even on a mod that's considered a defensive mod. I don't think you're ever going to be too mad about having a little extra offense, so we put that into the good stats. Bad stats, flat protection, flat health, flat defense, even though these are defensive mods. Those are still bad stats. And tenacity is something that we want on a tenacity mod, but otherwise it's a bad stat. And the rest of them fall somewhere in the middle that are okay to have on the mod. With that in mind, let's take a look at the mod work and see what we've got going on over here. First things first, we've built this mod inventory up to the point where it overflowed into our inbox. So we really have the maximum amount of mods to work on in this account. Here we have a crit chance mod, but it really doesn't have good matching stats for crit chance. Remember, we said we wanted those certain good stats that are offensive in nature, and we didn't find them. This has speed on it, so no matter what, we're going to hit it and see what happens. We get tenacity, and we don't consider tenacity to be a good stat. Here we get crit chance, and this is a very difficult mod. Like, I really want to keep it because it does have 7 speed, and it has crit chance and 4 decent stats, but there's a lot in tenacity. It's a potency mod that doesn't have a potency substat, so in the end, we're probably not going to pick that for a character over a mod that is a potency mod, either with better speed or with potency on it. Here we sell off a couple mods with poor substats. Here we've got some decent substats, but not really what we're looking for in a potency mod. No speed, no potency. All right, here we get speed, potency. We get a hit in each, 4 for 4, one in each stat. But they're relatively good stats, but just too many defensive stats. And if we would have hit more speed, then we probably could have kept that mod. Being aggressive about selling these off. We only really want to work on mods that we're going to pick for these characters. All right, we developed potency. It does have a flat defense stat. We hit the flat offense, and off it goes. Here we've got third stat developing. We've got a defensive mod, so we're hoping maybe to get some more good stats here, but we don't in the end. So now we got to start sorting to get the mods easier to deal with. So here we're going to look for potency. On a potency mod, the main two stats that we're looking for, we're going to try to match potency with the potency set with a potency substat, and of course that speed substat. So here we do get the potency substat, but we don't get what we're looking for on the other stats. So we sell it off. And remember, these mods, if they don't get good stats, the amount that you have to invest in them to take them up to higher levels and slice them, it really is a lot of materials and a lot of credits and a lot of expense. So even though they're decent stats, you really don't want to invest in them unless you are confident that you're going to get something decent out of it. Here we've got a speed, but we've got conflicting stats. If we'd gotten another good stat there, we probably would have hit it again just to see what the speed would be. Here we did get potency. We get flat offense, no speed. Not good enough for us to continue. And we are starting to build up an inventory of mods. So it's time now to start taking a look at these mods and deciding which ones we can sell off. So here you see we're taking a look. We've got a few of these that we developed. We haven't chosen them for a character yet. And if you see a green mod and it's got one speed bump in it and the other stats aren't that good, typically you don't pick it for a character. And once it's sat in your inventory for a while like this, you can come in and make the decision to sell that off. Here we've got a mod that hits speed, but it's only got 6 with 2 hits. It's got a 3 and a 3. That's not too exciting. But we'll trim down this. Here we've got 7 speed, but good substats, so we'll hang on to that for a little bit. This is 5 speed. It has a hit and health, so we keep that for a little while too. Then we got a bunch of gray mods that we're going to go through and pretty much just hit them with 6. And, if they still interesting after 6, we're going to hit them again. Here we get speed and crit chance, which is pretty good for a tenacity mod. We get tenacity, flat offense, 4 reasonably good stats. We hit crit chance, we hit tenacity on a slice, we hit crit chance again. And without hitting more of that tenacity or speed, then we just stop off there. All right, keep going with these mods. I'm not going to show every single thing that I did with the gray mods because in general, a gray mod has to be pretty good before we keep it. So here again, we're going through and we're sorting, trying to figure out which ones of these are worth keeping and which ones we can sell. We need to keep a selection of arrows, so we don't want to sell off everything. But in the end, if you've got 15 gray arrows, some of them got to go. So here we sell off all the arrows that don't have main stats that match the mod set that we're working on. And here we just take them up some levels so that when we select arrows for our characters, we'll have a look and be able to see what stats we're working with. All right, over to the triangles now. We got a speed mod with a speed substat. We hit it 4 times and don't come anywhere close to the speed. Those are heartbreakers. Here we hit it a little bit, and there we hit again, and we get major speed, 17 speed in total for the mod. Excellent mod. We're going to go ahead and just take this up. It's got 1 bad stat with the flat defense, but we're going to go ahead and slice this to 6 dot and give it another hit and see what we get. We get percent health, not perfect, and there we get the 5th hit on speed for a 23 speed mod. Nice. It's always nice to get a finished mod for these videos, and you guys can see some good stuff. All right, so here we have a tenacity mod, and we're investing a little bit in that. And again, remember, with triangles, you're going to be a little bit less picky with your triangles because you just don't get as many of those that are good. Here we've got a crit damage triangle with, it's got defense stat on it, which isn't great, but it does have 3 other really good stats. And we hit offense and crit chance. We don't hit the speed, But you know, if we'd hit the third speed bump, that would have been a mod that we probably would have taken to 6 dot and tried to slice that as well. But with only 2 speed hits, I'm always reluctant to ever slice. I may take a mod like that to 6 dots, but I'm reluctant to slice it at 6 dots because the likelihood that you're going to get 3 more hits on speed with the slices you have left is pretty low. So we only invest typically in mods that have at least 3 hits in speed. Here we're doing the same thing. We're sorting through our triangles, trying to find if there's some that have mediocre stats. We've been accepting of some pretty mediocre stuff. Here we've got a protection mod with offense. It's got some other good stats, but we're not going to put a protection mod with offense, probably. So because we've built up a few more of those, we can go ahead and sell off some of the ones that we were keeping. Just sorting through, looking for stats that match. There's a speed mod there with no speed on it that we saw. So it's crit damage mod. It's got some good stats on it, but without speed. I think at this point, now that we do have an inventory of mods, we can go ahead and get rid of that. Looking at tenacity mods, a lot of these I've taken up to 9 because I was working on them when I was really low on credits and didn't always have enough credits to get the ones that I wanted to see to 12. So what we're doing is we're going back through some of these early mods now, and we're either going to sell them off or we're going to go ahead and put that last hit to see what we get and see if we're interested. And here's a tenacity mod, but it does have crit damage and some good substats, so we keep that. That one develops a bad last stat. This flat offense here is not very interesting, no speed, so we sell that. Offense mod with crit chance. We develop potency here. It's okay, but you know, because we've got an inventory completely full, we're going to be a little more aggressive about what we sell off. So here we're going through the triangles again. We're just trying to get good stats again, matching up what we get. Being slightly less picky, but like I said, now that we're getting an inventory built up, we can take our time and look at a few more of these and be more aggressive about selling off the ones that don't meet. 3 good stats on that one. Here we've got some sped up stuff, so can't quite see what we're doing all the way, but yeah. So now we're back to crosses here. Speed mod again. Those are very frustrating. A lot of gold mods here that really go nowhere. Failed on speed on that one again. Defense with defense main stat, it's pretty good, but in the end, the substats just aren't good enough. Here we've got speed, offense on the main stat, some decent stats. We're going to keep going through these pretty quickly. Sort and sell the ones that don't have good substats. Sell that one off. Tenacity crosses. I only keep tenacity crosses that have a tenacity main stat because if I'm going for tenacity, I want the tenacity main stat. Like this one is a defense, and you'll see that I hit it to see if I get speed. So I'm still looking to see if it'll become a speed mod, but if it doesn't have a tenacity main stat, I'm not going to invest a whole lot into it. Here we've got some mediocre crosses. Thinking about selling some of these. Here we've got one that we sell off. Crit chance with offense main stat. We might use that someday. There's no speed, but it's okay-ish. Need an inventory of something. Offense with potency main stat. We'll sell that one off. We'll sell off some of these. Work on a few of them. Again, going through here pretty quickly, but we're looking for good stats. That's an tenacity mod with offense stats, which is kind of unusual, but because we're building Mon Mothma characters, and at this time I wasn't building the Mon Mothma characters yet, but there might be a place for an offense main stat tenacity cross. So we kept that. I think we kept that one. Tenacity with tenacity main stat. And here we're going through again with the crosses. Tons of stuff. All right. We ran out of time to work on mods at that point. We had to come in the next day and pick it up where we left off. So this is another mod session, but we're able to tack these all together for the video, of course. All right, and then we're going through here, tenacity mods with tenacity main stats. Here we've got crit chance with a protection main stat. Probably aren't going to use that. Potency with a crit chance. Probably not going to pick that if it doesn't have speed on it. Protection with kind of mediocre stats. The flat defense, tenacity, really not that attractive. Here we have an offense with offense main stat, but no speed. And again, these are gray mods, so the amount of investment that we would have to put in them to try to make them good. Basically, I leave these mods in inventory, and when I'm modding a character, if the substats look good and I put the mod on a character and I'm willing to take it to 15, that's the point where I would go ahead and determine if I'm willing to slice it or not, or just put it on the character and level it up, or leave it in inventory like this and eventually come back around and sell it. Speed mod with potency and no speed. That's, again, one of those mods that we picked up earlier in the game while we were a little bit less picky about what we kept. Here we've got a tenacity mod with a tenacity main stat. We'll put that last hit in it. And again, we're either going to build these up to get the last stat showing, or we're going to sell them. These 9s that we have sitting in inventory, the level 9 mods. So here we get crit chance, speed, defense. Protection's not the greatest stat, but it is an offense main stat. So we slice it once, and we're going to slice it twice. And I'll tell you guys now, if you've got a speed mod with decent speed stats and you're looking to level it up and you're willing to slice it, if you don't hit another speed within your first 2 slices, you stop at blue and you never go any further. Any speed mod that only has 1 speed roll at blue is not worth slicing up again. So if you miss it on green and then you hit it on blue, maybe you take it to purple. But certainly if you've sliced it to blue, and the same goes for just generically any mod, if it's at blue level and it only has 1 speed, you're not going to hit it. All right, there. We hit it on green. We hit it on blue. We're going to take it to purple. We're going to take it to gold, and it's got 13 speed on it. I should have locked that mod. I noticed now in watching it that I didn't hit the lock button real quick, so that 13 speed cross should definitely be locked for future slicing. Okay. Health main stat on a potency mod, not perfect. And again, we're just going through here trying to search for gold. So when is a mod worth taking a chance on? So I've said before in a prior video that if you have 3 good stats, it means that 75% of the time, even if you don't hit speed, 75% of the time you'll be happy with the result. 25% of the time you'll hit the bad stat, and that's something that you just have to accept. Again, if you go with statistics, if you have a mod with 1 hit on speed as a gray mod, 1 in 4 is going to develop speed as a green mod. 1 in 16 is going to develop 2 hits of speed as a blue mod. So the statistics go against you in a hurry, and then it's 64, and then 244. So starting out with gray mods, you have a 1 in 244 chance of getting 5 hits by the time you get to 6 dots. Now that was a potency mod. It didn't have speed, but it got 4 hits in potency. So for sure we're going to keep that one, because some character that's looking for just tons of potency, like I don't know, maybe a Cassian Andor or something like that, where you really you have to land the buffs. All right, so we got potency here, but the other substats weren't good enough, so off it goes. But yeah, as far as taking a chance goes, sometimes you just have to take a chance on these mods, because if you don't take a chance on any of them, you won't get anything. But that's how you determine it. 3 out of 4 stats are going to improve the mod. Then it's worth hitting with a slice or two, and especially for speed mods, if you don't get the speed right away, just abandon ship. Now let's say you got 2 hits on a speed mod and it's purple, and maybe you just don't want to go to gold. It's still a speed mod with 2 hits in speed. You can use it somewhere. So you don't throw those mods away, but you're not going to keep them. So here we're practicing exactly what we're talking about. We're going in here, we're looking at blue mods that have 1 speed upgrade or none, and the other stats aren't good enough to justify it. So some of these mods that we were working on, we sliced them. We weren't successful on the slicing. And now we're coming in here and kind of sorting out anything that's level 15 that we didn't want. Here we've got a couple mods that already have 2 bad stat lines, so we're going to get rid of them. All right, that cuts down the amount of level 15 mods that we have up top, so we can deal with this easier. And back to searching. So we're just sorting it down. Here we got another hit in tenacity. It's got a single hit in speed. But again, it's a tenacity mod, and we want that tenacity, and 2 hits in tenacity at blue isn't bad. So maybe we'll pick that for a character someday, so we keep it. Just keep sorting our way down. We got a lot of green mods here, so again, we're going to have to take a look at these and see if there's anything we can sell. This has speed and tenacity. We're not going to sell that. This one we do sell because it's only got 3 speed. Not that great of stats and only 3 speed, and we've already seen right next to it that we've got a green mod that's better, so we keep that. Again, things with speed and tenacity we're interested in. This one, not so much. Again, with the 3 speed roll, it's good, but once you already have a couple mods that have better than 3 speed, you throw it away. And I always use the analogy that if you get 2 hits in speed and they're both 3s and you have 6, you could easily have 5 with 1 roll on a different mod. And having 2 hits in speed and only having 6 is pretty much a sold mod, because it's gonna be a struggle from there. Or at least it's hard to invest in slicing, All right, 3 speed here. We're going to see what the other stats look like. We do get potency and speed on the same mod. It develops health, though, so again, with these lower level mods, unless it's really good. And here we go. We got really good stats here. Defense, tenacity, offense. It's not the greatest stats, but they're all percents, and we do have speed. So we'll keep that and put it in the bank. Here we get a second hit right away in speed, and that's a pretty pleasant mod. We go ahead and slice it up, and we get another hit in speed to 16. This one's going all the way, and 20 speed. Locked. We locked that one in like we should. So we've had a couple really good rolls on these mods. We've had one finished mod already, one at 20 speed, and a couple that were worth slicing. So now we've just got a whole bunch of cleanup. It's the same things I've been talking about already. There's no need to go through the circles and diamonds and explain all the stuff that we've already been talking about. This is more just so y'all can see that we're doing the same thing, consistently, just going through, sorting, selling, working on that mod inventory. There we got another 9-speed mod, which was pretty nice. Working them up, selling them off. So when do you have enough mods that you discontinue the first phase and continue on to the second phase? So in my original mod video, I talked about the 2 phases being, building an inventory and then hardening your mods. And hardening is all about slicing. So we're going to remod Dooku with this idea in mind, that we're going to do those things at the same time. We're going to mod Dooku, and we're going to harden his mods. So by hardening, I mean that's when you really decide what mods are worth slicing to 6 dot, what mods are worth putting 6 dot slicing materials into, and we're just trying to make Dooku blazing fast. Here we sort arrows by potency because we're going to find speed arrows, but we want to find a speed arrow that has a lot of potency on it. So speed main stat with a potency substat. We've really only got one arrow that fits the bill, and it's got pretty trashy substats. So we're not going to slice that. We're just going to put it at 15 and leave it. Now we're just looking to see if we've got something better somewhere that's worth working on. So here we're one little cog short of doing what we want to do. I try to farm it up. I fail. So, okay, I got to wait on slicing that mod. But here we go with the 6-dot slicing. So let's take this 20 speed mod, make it a 21 speed mod, and then we're going to hit it on the 6 dots. We get a 6 speed upgrade for a 27 speed mod. That's, yeah, that's, that's it. That's the stuff right there, guys. All right, and then we're short, and I really want to try to get this mod all the way up to gold, because I do think it's worth making into a 6-dot mod potentially already. So we do want to hit this and see, and it's the only speed potency with a good speed substat that I've got, so I'm really trying to force it to be good. And in the end, we don't get that speed hit, so we're not able to 6-dot it quite yet. Here again, we're looking at mods that only have 2 speed upgrades at gold, so it's really hard to commit to 6-dotting that as well. 288 speed means that once we get him reliced and put all 3 of the right side pieces onto Dooku, he should be at 308. So that'll give us another character over 300 speed, which will be fun. We'll have a quick little Dooku. Unfortunately, on defense, Dooku does like to do the hide and stealth first. So, you know, I almost kind of wish that he would just go in and attack and try to stun somebody right away. Here I'm looking at his Zeta, and I actually did consider putting his Zeta on him because he's going to be a relic character. And it's a pretty good Zeta. So, and remember, right there, you saw it at the end. You saw the spin move. When you're happy with a character, got to spin it a little bit. I'm pretty happy with the 308 speed. Well, 288 now, going to go to 308 speed Dooku. Here we're going into Vader. I'm really not happy with Vader's mods because I have health offset on him, and I've got this crit chance. And I really don't want crit chance. Crit damage would be fine. The potency mods would be fine. So here we're trying to get a potency set going, but we just lost a lot of speed. We really lost, you know, we're not gaining that much potency for this amount of speed that we're losing. So now we're trying to see maybe we could do this with a speed mod instead and get another potency mod somewhere else. But this potency mod has an offense main stat. It doesn't have a potency main stat, so we'd be losing out. We don't have a potency arrow with speed on it, so I'm kind of at a loss to turn the arrow into a speed arrow right now. So this is the quandary, right? And I don't want to go in and filter and start stealing mods off of other characters. I want Vader to be better, but I want him to be better with mods that are available. I don't want to have to dig mods off of other characters right now. But I'm really struggling to find a second potency mod that fits the bill and has the speed we need. We've only farmed up a few potency mods for this account, so it's really kind of slim pickings. But here you see my speed's gone down from 264 to 249, and that's not where I want to be. I don't want to be going backwards and losing speed. So here I dodge out of the whole thing, and I revert Vader back to the mods that he had before. And okay, fine, if I don't have stuff that's good enough to remod him, then at least we could, you know, take a look at the mods he's got, hit some 6-dot mods, hit some slices, and see where it goes. Here we've got 15 speed. The first slice hits tenacity. Second slice does hit speed. We're pretty happy with that. We take a third slice on it, we get more tenacity. So a very tenacious mod there. Here we get another hit for 23 speed, get another finished mod. That's excellent. All right, so we're going to take a stab at this. It's only 3 speed, but it hits speed. And there we hit potency. Now we're out of slices, but we're not going to complain about hitting potency on a mod that we want Vader to have potency. So it's a good fit. We've improved his speed to 279, increased the likelihood that he gets to go first in a lot of these matchups. Early game like this, it's very important that we get enough speed on him that we can underdog and still go first. I do have a few more slicing materials left, so I'm looking for a good mod that's already 6 dots that I don't have to, potentially invest in the 6 dot slicing. And this mod on Bosk is good enough, but in the end we hit the tenacity on that slice and not the speed. So that pretty much wraps up what we had going on with the mod clinic for mod clinic number 3. I hope that all made sense. I hope you were able to see some interesting things here, maybe learn a few tips and tricks and a little bit more to think about when to slice mods and when to invest in them and when to just bail and get your money back and sell them off. Thank you all for watching. Use the like saber if you haven't already to destroy that like button. It helps me, helps the channel, and I appreciate it. Join us over on Discord if you haven't already. We got a great community over there. Subscribe, hit the notification bell to watch more videos like this in the future. Thank you very much, and I will see you all in the next Holocron.